And all of a sudden, all the noise stopped except for this. We're on camera and we're friends. Yeah. Yeah. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite lores of Goatman. The first time I heard this was when I was in 8th grade from 2 different teachers. So I'll be telling the story that one of my teachers told and the other story that my other teacher told. So this was the first tale that I'd ever heard of Goatman. And this teacher was famous for telling this story every time for 8th graders. So what he told us is this. On late nights when you are driving and all you can see is what's ahead of you in your headlights, if you look over out your door to the side, there will be Goatman right there! So my teacher told that story and he had the balls to do that to me. And I peed myself a little bit. It was really embarrassing because I was only wearing a skirt. But yeah, so that was the first story that we were told, which wasn't as scary because then he talked about how in baseball, Goatman would probably be up in the stands eating a hot dog in reality. So the second story was the one that I hated to hear because I was a very scaredy cat kind of kid. So this one is more in depth. So no one really knows exactly how Goatman came about. There's a few different lores of how he became Goatman. One is just he was born that way. Another one is that a scientist created him. Sadly, I cannot remember the third one that he told me. The story that I heard from my other teacher was... This is like really creeps me out. I don't know why I'm like freaking out about this, but it legit terrifies me. So one night there was a couple who were driving along and they decided to take a back way home between all these woods. It was a very dense wooded area. And the girlfriend was like, okay, well, let's go, come on. You're just taking this back way so you can spend more time with me and try and make out with me and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And she just wanted to go home. And all of a sudden, the car ran out of gas. And so she was all like, oh, ha, 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 very funny, start up the car, let's go. She was kind of getting scared because it was getting late and she just wanted to get home. And so the boyfriend was like, nah, I ran out of gas. Like, I gotta go and get some stuff. So he decided there was like a mile up a gas station. So he started walking and she just sat there and waited for him. And as she was sitting there, all of a sudden she heard this goat yell in the distance. And it was so demonic and so eerie. It was just very disturbing. And so she just kind of like played it off. All of a sudden she heard something trotting up to her car, but she couldn't see anything because it was so dark. All of a sudden she heard it jump onto his car and it was a whole bunch of hooves and it kept smacking. So she was so scared, she dove underneath the dashboard on the driver's side and hid under there and put her jacket over her and was hiding herself. And all of a sudden all the noise stopped except for this on top of the car. She was so scared, and so she called 911 and eventually a cop showed up and the cop opened up the door, got her out of the car, and he said, just focus on me, do not turn around, do not look at the car, just come with me and come to the car. So she walked with him and he put her in the car and she was just like, why does he not want me to look at the car? So she decided to look over and she saw her boyfriend tied up feet, ankles from a tree with his fingernails scraping the top of the car from the wind blowing his body with his head cut off. Goatman striked. He got his prey. And she screamed. I would too. Now it's Coco's turn to tell her.
So the story that I heard of Goatman is kind of similar to that. I heard that late at night a couple of teenagers were driving out into the woods to have a makeout session, and while they were out there, the guy had his car running and it just died. It didn't run out of gas, but it just died and he couldn't get it to start again. So the girl pulled out her cell phone to go and like call for a tow truck or the police, and her cell phone died. And then they started hearing trotting, and it kept getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And so she kept trying to turn her phone on and on and on and on, and the guy was reaching, trying to see if he could find some kind of weapon. He couldn't find anything. Neither of them wanted to get out of the car. They were looking around, couldn't see anybody, but they were in the forest, so there wasn't really much of a line of sight. And then all of a sudden, the door flew off the car, and they heard goat noises, and then the guy was just gone. So the girl started panicking. She hid herself in the back seat along the floor and started freaking out and didn't know what to do, couldn't get her cell phone to turn on. She heard her boyfriend screaming off in the distance, and then the next day she woke up and started walking back home. Her cell phone finally turned on, and she called and told her parents what happened, and then she never came home.
Yeah.
So
Those stories give me the heebie-jeebies.
mm-hmm.
I was also told that one story that was very gruesome on Halloween, and my teacher decided to turn off the lights and turn on the Halloween-themed music. So I peed my pants that time too. Just a little though. It wasn't enough for a full-on gush. So, if you like that video, remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you really like our channel, please subscribe. We will be making videos occasionally. Not sure about our timeline yet. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, which I keep forgetting to mention, leave a comment down below. We'll look it up, try and figure out some more information, and let y'all know.
Thanks so much for watching.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Or evening.
Yeah.
Or nighttime.
Don't go in the woods.
Don't do it. At least not at night. During the day, you're fine. The only thing that you'll find is possibly a homeless person's little hut.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
I did find that. It's a pretty sweet mattress. It's pretty gross now, though. It's been a few years. Okay, bye!
Toodles!
Toodaloo-loo-loo.